Good morning, students. Today we'll be starting block 3, that is the physics of waves. The first topic that we will talk about is sound. This is chapter 12 in your textbooks. As you go through this video, I want you all to have your textbooks open in front of you so that you can go through the pictures and some of the text in the textbook. When we talk about sounds, let's discuss how sounds are produced. When I'm talking, I'm producing some sound. To understand this concept better, let's talk about three different types of instruments. We'll be looking at stringed instruments, wind instruments, and percussion instruments. Let's look at some of the stringed instruments. As the name says, these are instruments which has strings which are made to vibrate. The picture shows different stringed instruments. You can see the guitar, the violin, oud. In all these, the strings are plucked or bowed to make them vibrate. In most stringed instruments, the vibrations are transmitted to the body of the instrument, which also vibrates along with the air inside it. I want you all to look at page number 167 in your books. Look at figure 12.3. You can see a guitar in laser light. Although the player only touches the string of a guitar, the instrument's whole body vibrates to produce the notes we hear. This is shown up in this image, produced by shining laser light onto the guitar. Different notes produce different patterns of vibration, and this helps to give each note its particular sound. So we can say that in stringed instruments, the strings are made to vibrate, which makes the whole body of the instrument vibrate, including the air inside it, and a sound is heard. Next, let's look at the wind instruments. Now, these instruments, they have an air column inside it, which is made to vibrate. As you can see in the picture, you have different type of wind instruments. You have a flute, saxophone, horn, tuba, trumpet. Now, observe, the small instruments have a straight air column, like a flute. The bigger instruments, like you have a tuba, a horn, they have an air column which is bent around, producing deep notes. In all of these instruments, the air inside the column or inside the instrument is made to vibrate and the sound is produced. Percussion instruments are the ones that you have to beat or strike to produce sounds. Here you have some examples of percussion instruments. You have a drum, you have tambourine, you have congos, xylophone, bongos, and so on. Okay, let's observe a drum. If you've seen a drum, it has a cloth kind of a skin which is tightened around its side. This skin you have to beat so that the drum produces a sound. Okay. Now, when you beat the skin, the air inside the drum vibrates, producing the whole body of the drum to vibrate and produces a sound. Congos, bongos, they all work on the same logic. Okay. In case of a xylophone or a vibraphone, when you strike the keys, the whole metal body is made to vibrate, producing sound. Again, in percussion instruments, it works on the same principle like wind and stringed instruments. It is made to vibrate. The body and the air in the instrument is made to vibrate, and a sound is heard. In all the three types of instruments that we have discussed, stringed, wind, and percussion instruments, we discussed that the instrument is made to vibrate, causing the nearby air to vibrate, and the vibrations travel through air to reach the audience's ear. So we can sum up that whenever an object vibrates, the air next to it is made to vibrate, and the air reaches our ear and we can hear the sound. Some vibration reaches through ground, making our whole body vibrate. For example, let's say when we are near a construction site, okay, sometimes they have heavy machinery operating, okay. Now, these vibrations, they travel through the ground and the whole area around it is made to vibrate, and we can feel these vibrations in our body. Also, if you sit next to a loudspeaker, you can feel your whole body vibrating. Sounds, they can travel through solids as well. Ground, as we discussed. If you're in a swimming pool or if you are underwater, okay, you can still hear the sounds outside the water, showing that sounds can travel through liquids as well. They definitely travel through gases. As you can hear the sound, as you can hear me speaking, so it's basically my tongue is vibrating, and these vibrations are traveled or are transferred to the air molecules near my mouth, which vibrate and make the particles next to it vibrate. Okay. Similarly, the speaker that you are watching this video on is vibrating. The vibrating speaker makes the air near it vibrate. The vibrations propagate or travel through the air and reach your ear. That's how you are able to hear a sound. Now let's look at some questions to check our understanding of what we have studied so far. You can find these questions in page number 168 in your textbooks. The first question, 12.1, states, which of the following materials can sound travel through? Wood, air, or water? So yes, sound can travel through all these materials. Second question, when a woodwind instrument such as a flute produces a note, which part of it vibrates? We discussed flute in wind instruments. So, how does a flute produce sound? It makes the air column inside the flute vibrate.